House of Representatives. Sometimes this is also referred to as the lower house. We know that it's based on representation, and they were originally intended to represent the people. And once again, House of Representatives was that compromise on the Virginia and the New Jersey plan so that the larger states would be happy. So there are currently 435 members in the House of Representatives, and we'll talk about how we get that number in a minute. Each state is guaranteed to have at least one member. There are 7 states that have just one member in Congress. We know that Indiana has 9 members right now. That could change after we take a census. We live currently in the 2nd district, and once again, that could change when we do the redistricting, and we will talk about that. House members serve for 2 years. The purpose of this short term in office is to make them closer to their constituents. So make sure you put that term down, constituent. This is a person who is being represented. So when members of Congress say they need to talk to their constituents before they can vote on anything, they mean that they're going to send things home to mailers that we get in the mail and take surveys from the people that they represent in their district or in their state. So we are the constituents, and once again, House members were intended to be closer to them in terms of more reactive to what the people in their district wants. Some more information on the House. There are currently no term limits. A lot of people have suggested that we only allow them to run for a certain number of terms, but since they are not limited in the Constitution, any laws that have been created to try and limit the number of terms that a representative can serve have been ruled as unconstitutional. There are 3 constitutional requirements to be a member of the House of Representatives. You only have to be 25 years old. You have to have been a citizen of the United States for 7 years, and you also have to live in the state that you are running for office. It's not a requirement that you actually live in the district. Obviously, that would be helpful if you're running and you actually live in the area of the people that you are representing. But the Constitution just says you have to live in the state. I want to talk a little bit about reapportionment. And what reapportioning means is just we are going to redistribute the seats. So every 10 years we have what's called the decennial census, and decennial just is that time period of 10 years, where we're actually going to count everyone who lives in the United States. And we do that primarily so we can figure out, have people moved to different areas of the United States? Do we still need 9 representatives in Indiana, or have we lost population, or have other states gained so much population that we have to move those seats around? So that 435 is actually a permanent number that was set by the Reapportionment Act of 1929. It says there will be 435 members in the House of Representatives, and that every 10 years the Census Bureau will count all of the people for figuring out where we're going to shift these 435 members. And then the states are responsible for taking that number and then redrawing the lines. And so when we start looking at how the state is supposed to do this, this is a map of the state of Louisiana. And what I'm showing you here is the 4th district in yellow. It is very odd shaped, and the members of the Louisiana State Legislature did this on purpose. And we are going to spend some time, a day, if not more, looking at this process of reapportioning. But what I need for you to understand right now, until we do that additional stuff, is that Louisiana takes their map and they split up into districts. And so you have District 1 over there on the far right, below it. On the far right is District 3. Then you have 7, it looks like 6 and 5, and then 4 is that craziness that is in yellow. So like I said, states are responsible for drawing their own district lines. And what gerrymandering is, this is a term you need to know, and we will also watch some videos in class so you know where that term actually comes from. It's where the state legislature draws these districts in very odd shapes so that the party in power in that particular state either keeps more control, or they can manipulate these lines so they try and keep as many seats in the House of Representatives as they possibly can. And there's a couple of ways to do this. One is to concentrate all the party in one district. So let's say they know that that's where all the Democrats or pockets of Democrats are. So they're going to draw this line very oddly so that the Democrats can take that one district, but then all the other districts are going to be carried by Republicans. So that's called packing. And the other way is to spread it so thin that the party doesn't win any seats, and that's cracking up each one of the districts. So you can pack them all in one, or you can crack all of the districts up so much that the opposite party is not going to take any one of those seats. Once again, please do not distress if you do not understand this concept, because we will be doing some more in class with this. Talking about some special duties that are specifically given to the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives is responsible for impeaching the president. And what to impeach means is to formally charge with a crime. What the House is going to do is, if they want to impeach a president or a judge or some other official, the House is just going to go through all of the evidence, and they are going to determine, after looking at the evidence, is there enough evidence to have a trial? That is the end of their duty at that point. We have had two presidents that have been impeached. Andrew Johnson, who was the president after Lincoln was assassinated, was impeached over Reconstruction after the Civil War. And then Bill Clinton was impeached for lying under oath. Another one of their special duties is any bill that is going to tax, which are also called revenue-raising bills, they have to start in the House of Representatives. And we talked a minute ago about how the House is closer to its constituents. They serve fewer. Instead of serving the whole entire state, they serve a very small number in their district. And they serve for 2 years, so they are closer to their constituents. And so what the Founding Fathers decided is, if we are going to take more money out of these people's wallets, then we better have the House that's closest to them, that's serving a much shorter period of time, 2 years compared to 6 years. They're going to be closer and more reactive to what the people want. So if we're going to raise their taxes, it has to start in the House of Representatives. And the same with appropriations. And these are spending bills. If we talk about appropriating something, we're talking about taking money and spending it on something. So if the government is going to tax us more or spend money, those bills have to start in the House of Representatives, because they are closer to their constituents, because they serve a smaller number of people and they serve for a much shorter length of time. We're going to look just a little bit at leadership in the House of Representatives. The Speaker of the House is the most influential member in the House of Representatives. And once the House has chosen all the members, we did this in the last election, one of the very first things that they're going to do is pick their Speaker of the House. So the majority party gets to pick the Speaker of the House. Like I said, most influential member. And the other thing is, if something were to happen to the president and the vice president at the same time, if neither one of them could serve at the same time, then the Speaker of the House is right behind them. The Speaker would move up and become President of the United States. We also have a majority leader, and I put on here they represent Republicans on the House floor, and I put that because Republicans are the majority. But if there were ever a case when the Democrats, or if the Democrats had taken over, then the majority leader would have been a Democrat. Currently, the minority leader will be a Democrat because they hold the minority. There are fewer of them than there are Republicans. And then you have whips. These are assistants to the floor leaders. Your whips, you have a majority whip and a minority whip, and their whole entire responsibility is to keep track of votes. So when there's a vote in the House, the majority leader knows who all of their members are voting for this bill or against it, the same with the majority. So this is a very important responsibility. Their goal is to get members to vote in line with whatever the party's legislative program is.